Welcome to my Good to Great promise. This is the first of many videos I plan to do talking to you about quality instruction in the classroom. In today's video, my goal is to have teachers understand how to use student feedback as information to adjust their lesson planning and to have teachers creating effective feedback strategies during instruction. So, target objectives would be for me to have you understand that feedback must be effective, it needs to be timely, and it has to be specific. Your instructional feedback will provide immediate information about the quality of learning and the quality of teaching done during the lesson. So, how do you know what they know? How do you know if a student can tie a shoe? How do you know if a student can recognize and pronounce letter sounds? How do you know if a student can tell you the difference between an integer and a real number? Or how do you know if a student can make comparisons between the French Revolution and the American Civil War? How do you know what they know? Do you do it through student assessments, like homework, which is actually independent practice away from you, the teacher? Do you assume that they understand that concept so well that they could teach it to someone else, like a parent or a sibling? Or do you believe in osmosis? Because you've given the information to them. It's their job to listen and absorb it completely and then store it in their brain. Or do you do guided practice during the lesson? You've taught the concept, you let them practice it a few times, and then you ask that golden question. Does anybody have any questions? And of course, they all shake their heads. Nope, no questions. How do you know what they know? What's your immediate feedback or knowledge gauge per student? Well, the research from the Marzano group tells us that your teacher feedback, or how well you taught or facilitated the lesson, has to be immediate. Your immediate knowledge of the student learning, it will assist you in adjusting the next lesson. Immediate feedback, it increases student knowledge, skills, and understanding of that lesson objective. How you intentionally plan and teach a lesson relies on that immediate feedback from the students. There is significant findings on homework, and it says, by just correcting papers and giving them back has no impact on student achievement. Simply telling students answers are right or wrong will actually have a negative effect on achievement. What students want, what they desire, is a rapid response on tests and quizzes. They want that immediate feedback. And they want an example of an excellent answer and the ability to go back and make revisions on their own work. When planning a lesson, you need to rely heavily on immediate student feedback. The proof is in the pudding. Don't wait days later to taste it. When planning a lesson, work backwards. Determine the goal for the lesson and the target objectives. And then once you have these goals and objectives established, write them on the board, post them, make them kid-friendly, and then go over those objectives and goals with the students at the beginning of a lesson. You need to tell them what they need to know. These posted goals and objectives are for you and the students. They become your focal point or your target. And then during instruction and learning, you shoot arrows often during the lesson to see how many arrows hit that target with each student and the accuracy. So the last thing you do at the end of the lesson, before the kids leave the room, is do a final check for understanding or do a feedback slice. And it's done in the form of exit tickets. Exit tickets are 2 to 4 questions each student answers before they leave the room. They are your final championship round of hitting the target. That's the proof in the pudding. That's that proof in the pudding moment. How well did you teach is shown by how well they learned. And then you go back and you make adjustments to your lesson and you do it again the next day. The basic definition of feedback is what you did and did not do. As a teacher, your lesson feedback is proven by what the students know and don't know. What you did or did not do in the lesson is shown through assessing student knowledge, period. It's all about the learning in the classroom. And how do you know what they know? What's your immediate feedback for all students in your classroom? What I'd like you to do now is, after this video, go ahead and go to that SurveyMonkey link and do the 2 exit tickets. They are my immediate feedback on what you know and what you don't know. Thanks, and we'll talk again.